All right, so this is week 2 of the weekly webinar, and we're probably going to get started in just a few minutes because there was some confusion about this specific webinar in the sense that I might have posted the wrong link, so I'm just going to give some people a few more minutes. And I just want to mention something about that. Like if there's ever sort of like a technical glitch or something, always check over at my Facebook page or something, because usually if I need to, I will post over there. And so that's an interesting and important kind of thing to consider if anything's ever confused on the Google Plus page for this webinar. Okay, so I just wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about a question that I got this week. And while I'm thinking about it, I want to tell you guys a little bit of background about this story. So basically, I've been writing newsletters for about 10 years. And this newsletter that I write, my intention is just to connect with you guys, to connect with my community, and to be able to share anything that I have or that I'm doing or that I've created for you. And so I send out this newsletter. I don't send it out every single week all the time, but sometimes I do. And so I always like to, try to be as consistent as possible. But definitely I send it out regularly for 10 years. I've been connecting to you guys, and some of you have been around since the beginning. But I have had a lot of incredible people contact me over the years about their story and about the profound kind of shift that they've had through different practices, whether it was practicing along with my videos or live training with me, or even just something I wrote somewhere. But I got a newsletter response the other day from one of the readers, and it was so beautiful that it really touched my heart in a big way. And I'm kind of dedicating this webinar to this person, because basically I had written this newsletter and I just wanted to get it out there because it was like the solar eclipse and new moon and all this powerful energy that night was going on in the universe, and is really feeling like I gotta share some energy with the community. And I wrote this newsletter just about, the power of your mind and the manifestation and all of those things that I always talk about, because I think that that's really the key to everything in life, is just mastering your mind and connecting with the source and being in alignment in every single way possible, energetically, specifically, and in your emotions. And so I got a response from one of the readers, and she said that she has read my book, and she did a lot of the DVDs and different video programs, and she did the 30-day yoga challenge. And here she was, and for whatever reason, she was in this energy slump. And so she had that day been considering ending her own life, and she was considering, taking her life. And I guess at the perfect moment, I sent this newsletter, and she read it, and she felt for however, you would think this could happen in the perfect timing, but she was so affected by the words that I wrote in that newsletter that she decided to live, and she decided to live. And the coolest thing about the story to me is that she has an 11-year-old child. So it wasn't really, living is important, but I feel like especially if you have children, you have something really important to live for. And I'm just so amazed, and I just want to take a moment and just say thank you for, sharing yourself when you do, because it really means a lot to me. Like when I hear stories like that, that's what I live for. That makes me so happy. And I really feel like I'm reaching at least somebody. So basically, I just want to share her question, because after she wrote this, and at the bottom she said, I just have a question, and I'm really dealing with this issue. Is what comes up for me is anger a lot, and sadness, and anger and sadness, which in my experience is like depression. It's like a little bit above depression, because depression is more like below anger. Like anger is actually a step above depression, which is good in a sense. It means that you have energy, whereas depression just means you're so in a negative space that you're no energy. And I've been in both before. Like I've been depressed, like the worst depressed ever kind of experiences in my life, and also a lot of anger issues I had. Because I grew up in foster homes, and I didn't have a normal childhood. I moved like every few months, and I had a lot of what would be considered like abuse in my life, a lot of abuse in my life, I would say, both from parents and from peers, children in the school, a lot of bullying. I was bullied a lot, which is kind of weird because, if you think about life, you're like, why would one person want to be mean to another person? Like, what is the root of that? And I really feel that the root of that is this anger and an uneasiness or discontent inside of yourself. So if you're feeling so bad inside yourself that you want to project that negativity out to someone else, so then that affects them. But if you have anger, and that's what I want to talk about just for a short while tonight, because I feel that it's a huge problem in our world. I mean, it's not just a couple people. You look at wars, you look at people killing each other over religion, and you have people killing each other over resources and over land, and it's just incredible. But some of that is more rooted in greed and power, and then there's other negativity and that's being caused by anger. And so there's different energy, right? It's all in the negative category, but there's anger, there's greed, there's selfishness. These are different negative energies. But ultimately, just to talk about anger for a bit, I feel like anger comes from inside of a person when they feel that someone else has either hurt them or is a threat to them, or you feel bad about a situation because you're choosing the victim position, and that's a possibility. So there's different reasons why we feel anger, and maybe there's a feeling like this person did something to me, or it could be this person did something to a different person. You can still get anger even if it's not something that happened directly to you. So that's the fascinating thing about anger, is that it can come from so many different directions. And what I've noticed, and there's a quote about it that I think is just an amazing quote, because it says, anger is like holding on to a hot coal expecting the other person to get burnt. And that's the interesting thing. It's like usually anger has to do with someone else, because you're angry because something somebody else did or said or whatever. And whatever that is. And you being angry does not help anything. It doesn't make them feel any worse, and it usually, and typically it doesn't make them feel any better. It just doesn't help ever. But it definitely is a response mechanism that we have inside of a lot of people. I feel like there's two types of people. There's the people that respond in anger, and there are people that respond in sadness. And anger and sadness are different. Sadness is like, woe is me. And anger is like, I want to kill something, right? So the opposite energies in a way. One is like introvert. The other one is an expression that wants to be extroverted. But they're like two sides of the same coin. There's like bad energy. And it's like one step above just total depression. So there's a thing that I talk about a lot at my trainings. It's called the tone scale. And if you guys have ever heard this, it's a very interesting thing. I think it's worth sharing. But basically, in the psychology community, there's a philosophy called the tone scale. And the tone scale is basically, let's say you have between negative 200 to positive 200, and in the center is 0. And the negative numbers all represent negative emotions or negative energy. And then everything above 0 would be positive energy. So it's all positive emotions. And at any given moment or point in your life, you're operating within a certain kind of range within that tone scale. So you may be, if you're a generally positive, happy person, you could be like 100 to 150 or 1 to 120, something high. And if you're generally a negative person, maybe you're in the negative 100 to 120 to, so you can kind of see where you fall. Now, someone who's manic depressive or bipolar, that means that they can go from one extreme of the tone scale all the way to the other extreme of the tone scale within a short period of time, which is not healthy. And your consciousness is not designed to be able to be at the top and at the bottom, like at any short interval of experience in your emotional body. So that's why being bipolar is so difficult. And that's why a lot of bipolar people actually have anger issues as well, because like it's just difficult to manage that kind of fluctuation of energy, like you want to sort of maintain and continually move in a positive if you can, but definitely not going way down and way back up. So basically, the important thing and the point of this is to say that people who are in anger or depression or sadness, those are like the lowest on the tone scale. Like if you had negative 200, those would be like negative 175 to negative 200, like the worst, because it's a vibration that doesn't see any positive. It's kind of like there's no hope. That's another emotion at that end of the tone scale. Hopelessness, lack of motivation for life, and kind of wanting not to live here anymore. And I felt that way before. I don't know about you guys, but I've felt that way before, and more than once. And it's a hard thing to get out of, and that's why I wanted to take this webinar a little bit to just talk about this, because first of all, I think it's a big problem in our world. I definitely think there are people in the world that have this situation where they're feeling this way, but they don't actually know how to get out of it, and they haven't been subscribed to my newsletter, so maybe they don't even know where to turn to. And that's the interesting thing in life, is that there's two ways you can go. You can be in a really bad place, and that's okay because we've all been there, but you can either be there, and then if you don't have anywhere to go or any idea of a solution, then you may just stay there, and that's usually what happens, and then you go into a negative and all the way out of life sometimes. And when I was in high school, I had several people in my high school commit suicide, and I remember one of them, he was in my chemistry class, and it was the first boy I ever kissed. It was the saddest thing. I mean, the boy was really cute, nice guy, and nobody knew he was depressed. Nobody knew. He was a happy-go-lucky, like laugh kind of guy. Like he was laughing in class. Sometimes the people who are laughing the most are the saddest. You think of Chris Farley, and I don't know if you guys know who that is, but Chris Farley is he's a comedian, and he died. But basically, he's laughing so much, but he was definitely inside not happy, I think, primarily. So it's really important to understand the symptoms if you do have people around you that could be at risk. But ultimately, so if you're that kind of person, you don't have anybody to reach out to, then that's a bad situation. So that's why I create this community energy. So I would like for, at any point, people to feel like they could have someone to reach out to. And not like one of those hotlines, like, call if you're, they have hotlines for this. Suicide hotline, I think it's called. Think about it. So ultimately, though, this is better than that. It's a community of support. So it's something that, like, you don't need the hotline because you got friends. You know what I mean? And the friends are the hotline, and I'm your friend, and we're all your friend. So anyway, I just want to make sure that people are aware and understand, like, the whole point of why we even have community and why we make the attempt and the effort to get you guys together and to join us on community events and whatever we're doing. I'm always inviting because I want you to know that we have this here for you. Doesn't mean you always need it, but you know what? I think you always need it. You always need community. You always need family, and you always need friends. That's, for me, those are like no question. Those are the necessities of life next to water and air and food, you know? And so to be that kind of support is really important. Now, if you think about it though, let's say your friend, you didn't even know your friend was totally depressed. Like that's happening a lot. You may even have friends in this moment who are so depressed that they don't actually know what to do with their self. And I've been in that place. I've actually felt so depressed before in my life that I didn't want to live, and I didn't really want to tell anyone because I also felt bad about it for whatever reason, or embarrassed or whatever. And I think a lot of people have that same kind of problem about it, where they don't want to share because they feel embarrassed, I guess. And so anyway, this lady who's a part of our community, she emailed me after reading the newsletter last Saturday, and it was just such a beautiful email. And she said, "Thank you so much for being an angel of light, and your email came at the exact perfect time, and I was considering taking my life because I was so depressed, and your email made me choose to live." And I thought about that, and I was like, that's probably the coolest thing anybody could ever say to anyone else. Like, to me, that was one of the most beautiful things that I've ever received. And I've gotten some beautiful messages over my life for sure, lots of gratitude and amazing stories. But just the idea that one word, one instant that you can choose, that you want to share some love, a little kindness, a little smile, you know, maybe a something, right? Whatever it is, you could be at the grocery store, you could be at like the sidewalk, wherever. Just a little love goes a long way. And don't be concerned whether or not the other person receives it, because you don't know what people are receiving. You can't expect everybody to turn around and smile back. That's asking a lot. Now, I would like that. It would be nice when I smile at a stranger in the airport that they'd be like, woo, yeah, smiling back. But remember the tone scale that we talked about. So you can't expect that from everybody. It's not about what you can get back. It's what you can give, because as everybody knows, you get far more by giving than you get by getting, realistically. Like, giving energy is abundant receiving in an automatic spiral back. And sometimes they call this kind of thing karma, but I'm not even referring to karma. I'm talking about the energy of giving and receiving being absolutely the same. And that's the great illusion of our existence in this time, is that there is this difference between giving and receiving, in the sense that if you give, you don't have enough to give, or you feel like you don't have enough for yourself, so that vibration inside is like, I don't have enough, which relates to the anger and to the sadness, is because a lot of times why people get angry and sad is because of sometimes it has to do with an imbalance in this giving and receiving energy, right? And so one of the great miracle cures of depression is to go volunteer your time for something that's important in the world. So, for instance, if you went and you volunteered at an orphanage, and you look at these kids and you see these kids don't have any parents, they don't have anything. You know, I've been to a lot of orphanages, and these kids, you know, the interesting thing is, like, they'll have like 30 or 40 kids in one room, and they'll have like all their little beds in one room. They share like one bathroom for 40 kids or something crazy, and it's like a toilet that's really a hole in the ground. And but they're happy. And even the ones that we visit when we bring groups to Bali, these kids are actually deaf and mute. So not only do they have no parents, they can't hear and they can't talk. And even that, you come and they are happy and they're dancing and they're happy to show you their little Balinese dance, and they can, just do so many beautiful things and happy and smile. And so go volunteer. That's like the best antidote to sadness and depression that you can ever give yourself. And the reason for that is because it takes your mind off of your own self. So if you're not thinking about yourself so much and your problems and the story that's surrounding you, or your past, which is another huge culprit that gets you into sadness and depression, if you're not thinking about that, then you're going to feel the energy shift. And inside of you is like this joie de vie. There's actually a joy of living inside of every single human being, inside somewhere. And the key to unlocking it is giving generously, compassion, where you actually think of somebody else who's in a bad situation and feel love for them. So that's compassion. And then of course the other one is gratitude. So gratitude is just shifting the mindset. So the mindset says, I am sad, whatever story you have around that. And then, or I'm angry and this person did this thing or whatever. And the story you have around that. And so you embody the energy of that. And it's like killing you because it's such a locked up, low vibration energy. And then you shift it. You put yourself in front of somebody who actually has real problems. Maybe they don't have parents, maybe they don't have food, maybe they don't have a home, homelessness. I mean, all of those are also conditions of the mind. But I definitely think that if you put yourself around these people, you will definitely stop feeling so sorry for yourself. And that's for sure. And I guess if there was anything else I would want to say about that is, besides for those three, right? Volunteer, so give something. Number 2, right, is gratitude, and the third is compassion. So I feel like those 3 things are kind of like the antidote for depression and sadness. But the other thing is, so when I say gratitude, what I'm talking about is focusing on whatever it is that is in your life that's beautiful. What are you grateful for, right? Like, what is the magic thing? Like your kid, maybe you have children and they're amazing. And children are miracles of God. So your child, if you have one, is your reason for living. You have no choice anymore. You have to stay. That's your reason for living now. Everything else, forget about it. You have to continue to live to keep that child living. And so I think that that's one of the important things for parents to remember. But as far as people who don't have kids, I think that, I mean, really seeing the gratitude for everything, the miracle of life. Like, I'm so grateful for my sisters. I have 3 blood sisters, miracles of God. They're the most beautiful angels in the whole world. I mean, I couldn't be luckier to have them. And then on top of them, I have a lot of regular, like, non-blood sisters, and like we have a whole spiritual community of people here together, all of you guys, and our community that is at large around the world. Thousands and thousands of people, millions of people have been a part of this community for years. And I'm just so grateful for that, because in the end of the day, what matters, right? What really matters is it, like how big your house is. Like, I don't have a huge mansion. One day I might, but I don't have that right now. But I'm so happy. I love my place. I love where I live. And I got rid of my car like almost, let's say, 18 months ago. I haven't had a car for 18 months. I feel like that's the coolest thing ever. I'm stoked. I walk a lot, and I take sometimes public transportation, and then sometimes I take Uber. So basically, it's the coolest thing. I haven't had a car for 18 months. I feel really good about that. Now, some people are like, they don't like their car, or they want a different car, or like the whole car story, it just kind of like makes you not happy. Well, if your car story makes you not happy, get a different car story. If your house or your home story makes you unhappy, get a different thing, move on. Like, you can let go of that old story, get a new, replace the old story with something that's really beautiful and empowering, so that you can feel grateful for it. And even if it's minimal, it's beautiful and it's magical, because it's fulfilling, because it's everything that you need. Same thing with a partner in a relationship. You know, I'm not married or anything. If you're married, be grateful for your husband or wife. That's the number one, I think, problem with relationships, is people are not grateful for each other. So they take each other for granted, or they treat each other poorly, or they don't make time for the other. And why with that person if you're not going to make any time for them? You know what I mean? Just like move on. Be alone if you don't have time to really be with somebody. So I think that ultimately, everything can be very simple in life. It doesn't take rocket science or any kind of advanced yoga poses. I teach yoga, and I love it because yoga transforms people's lives. It transformed my life, and the practice of yoga and meditation especially, but specifically the practice of yoga, as far as being able to heal the body and like clear your energy field and just open you up and balance you out, everything becomes stronger. Yoga is a miracle in my mind and in my life. But at the same time, if you could never do another yoga pose again, and all you ever did was those three things, which was give generously, selflessly to others, have compassion and feel it in your heart, and be grateful, you would be a happy person. I guarantee that would be enough, and your whole life would be so miraculously blessed. I mean, I know people like that, actually. So ultimately, what really matters in life is that wherever you're at, is that you take time for those three things. So if you need to, write it down so you can make a habit of it. Do it right before bed, do it right when you wake up. You can't necessarily always, go volunteer before bed, but you can actually, do something sweet. Like, I'll sometimes send a little message to someone I love, like, good night, sweet dreams, like a sister. Maybe just make their day. You never know. I've had times where I sent a little message to my sister just saying, I love you so much, with like X's and O's and hearts, just thinking of her. And then she responded maybe saying, that was the most amazing timing because I was feeling really down today, and thank you, it really lifted me up. You never know when what you're going to do is going to impact somebody in a really big way. And it can be a small little act. They call it tiny acts of kindness. Tiny acts. It doesn't have to be, you raised $1 million for the UNICEF Foundation and saved 80 million babies. Like, that'd be great too, but you don't need to do that in order to feel good about giving. All you need to do is give. It's a miracle. It's just give, and then boom, you're gonna feel good. Trust me on this. But if you're giving because you feel like you're obligated, that's a different story, because that's not the energy of giving. That's just doing what someone else is telling you to do, which is a bad energy. You got to come from like, you want to do it. And so that's the authenticity of intention. Intention connects to the universe, and you can't hide from intention. Like, the universe feels it one way or the other. It either feels your legitimate intention, or it feels your phoniness, and everything that you're getting back is a reflection of that. So that's an interesting truth that I feel very certain about, and I think that the more you align with that understanding, is that it's all about the intention. It's not what you even say. Words are hollow. I've had so many people tell me these hollow words, and their actions and who they were showing up as was just so not matching the words, and I think anybody who, everybody's been around that type of person. And so I think it's really important to recognize that when people say something, you just gotta wait and observe and see how they follow up with actions. Because if their actions are just narcissistic selfishness or whatever, you're gonna see it. And then those words, they didn't mean anything. Just erase that, right? And just kind of be in alignment with harmony of your truth. So I want to go back to the beginning where we talked about just how to get rid of anger. Other than those three that I just said, selfless service, compassion, and gratitude. But just and to talk about some other ideas, I think going out into nature is also very powerful. So if you go out and they say 2 hours in nature can reset your almost like your entire genetic vibration. You know, like nature has infinite intelligence, first of all. Secondly, it's breathing a prana of just the earth, and earth has all that you need, the minerals, the oxygen, everything in there. So basically go out into nature. If you can, get into the ocean or a body of water. Water is healing. Water is the energy of the emotion. So you're going to wash yourself clean with that energy, and you'll come out feeling like a new person. You really will. And so I really encourage going into nature. Another thing that you can do is turn on some music. Shift your energy just with a positive vibration. Sound healing music. So anybody, if you've ever been on you know, in a little funk, if you turn on the music and you start just like hearing a song that makes you feel good, and then all of a sudden, like, where did that funk go, right? You're just feeling good again. So music can do that for you, but make sure it's something that's like a good vibration, you know, so to lift you up a little bit. And another thing you can do, and this is something that I think people don't really think about doing when they're feeling depressed, but is reach out to somebody. You know, obviously, if you're living, you probably know at least one person that you could reach out to, and don't feel embarrassed or shame or anything like that if you feel like you need to talk to somebody, even if you just need to cry the whole time. Like, who cares? You know, what do you think friends are for? You know, some people are so like, I'm strong, I don't need anybody kind of energy, and that's fine, but like ultimately we all need each other. There's no man is an island, right? Isn't that a saying? Like, no man is an island. So if you ever feel bad, just reach out to people. And you know how happy and like overwhelmingly supportive people will be if you do reach out to them. Most of the time, now, first of all, just to put a little side note, you want to reach out to the right people. Reach out to positive people, people that you know that are supportive and loving and kind and compassionate and generous with their time, because that's the type of person you need to talk to if you're not feeling really good. If you're feeling bad already and then you just reach out to somebody that's primarily negative, it's not going to help, you know? So choose wisely. But ultimately, the most important thing you can do is connect with your divine self. And that's what we're going to do at the end of this call here. Is I'm going to do a guided meditation. And it's just going to be that meditation of the light of your soul and the light in your heart. And so this is the kind of meditations that I really like to do. I mean, there's a lot of guided meditations, and if you've done any of my online programs, you've probably followed along with a lot of my guided meditations. But this one will be kind of, you know, short, but I just want to give an opportunity for anybody to ask questions if you want to. And I think I actually posted, and I hope I set it up properly so that people can ask questions. I'm just going to see if it's working. Last week, people weren't able to see it. So I just posted this, and we'll just pray that that people can see my question and answer chat area and post one. But if you can't, we're going to move along, and then what we'll do is we'll have a and then we'll have the guided meditation at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick check over here on the page to see if anybody posted a question. It's such an interesting, I love technology. Technology is the coolest thing, but I'm still learning, and I have to admit, I wish that I was perfect at it. But so far, I'm still working on my skills as a geek. It's funny, my web guy, he was saying that he calls himself a geek, and I'm like, you know, I sometimes consider myself a geek, but when you're a geek means that you're good with technology. So here we are, and we're coming to the end of the session, and we're going to do our guided meditation. I just want to double check on my Facebook page to see if anybody posted any questions, because I love answering questions, you know. And you guys, if you missed this, if you're watching this later, you know, feel free to post a question in the comments of this video, and then I'll be happy to answer those for next time. There were a few people who posted questions from last week, so I want to answer a couple of those questions because I thought those were really good questions. Like one of the people last week asked, it had to do with breathing, right? And I feel like it's an interesting, it's very specific. Some people have specific questions, but I actually feel that either way, if you have a specific need, like lower back problems, another person posted about lower back problems or pain and how to alleviate that, sciatica and stuff. So there's a lot of pain that people experience in their body. I've made a lot of videos. So if you have a question that's specific about a pain in your body, something that yoga would help you with, you can post that kind of question in the comments here too, and I will for sure answer these questions in a future video. So that's one thing I like to do, is actually we're going to start doing that. We'll have you post the comments the week before, and then the next week I'll be able to answer the questions for you in a video. So anyway, let's move along because we're coming near the end of this hour, and it was only supposed to be 30 minutes anyway. So we're gonna do this guided meditation. So in order to do it, you can either lay down on your back or find a comfortable seated position. Now I just want to show you a couple hand mudras, because it does make a difference. You know, you see these people in the pictures, they have a mudra, and you're kind of like, oh, that looks very yogic. Probably, you know, if you're not like a yogi, you might think, wonder what that's all about. And really what it is as you touch your thumb and your index together, you will feel this kind of energy. And the other 3 fingers are stretched out, so they're extended. And basically, if you're sitting, just having the hands on the knee, right? Kind of like that. And another hand position that I love is like this. So you take one hand and then lay it over the other, and you touch the thumbs, and this is called Samadhi Mudra. So Samadhi is a name for like ultimate enlightenment, and that's another good one. And then another one that I'll do if I have a mala, which this is like a mala, I guess. Basically, it's like you have these little beads, and then you can count with these. So you take one bead and you roll it around with the thumb and the index, and you count breaths. And this will help you to keep your meditation going and keep you focused on the breath and keep you centered. So that's a really good one. But those are just a couple of hand positions if you're seated. Otherwise, just lay on your back. And I like to, you can have your hands open with the palms facing up. So that's a receiver position. Another option would be to have one hand on your heart, one hand on the belly. And this kind of integrates and grounds you. So you should feel really, really good with that. So anyway, find what works for you, whatever that is. And you know, if you know me, if you've ever taken my workshops or trainings or any of my videos even, you probably know that, you know, I believe that many paths lead to the same truth. So if your goal is to feel good at the end of the meditation, you will. And but just go in with an open mind. And the most powerful thing that you can do with it when you're meditating, especially if you're relatively new to it, is really keep going back to the breath. If your mind starts wandering, if you start having a lot of thoughts, go back to your breath, because that will keep you centered and that will keep you very present, because that's really what you're aiming towards, is just becoming fully present. And then with meditation, the aim of the whole meditation practice is ultimately to just maintain your presence just continuously, and that you would always be present. So that's a really powerful, I feel, an important kind of distinctive benefit of meditation, is this movement towards being more present in your whole life. So that's why I encourage everybody to practice meditation. Okay, get ready. So you're just gonna do whichever, sitting or laying down, but close your eyes and just allow your body to relax. So taking a nice deep inhale through the nose, and as you exhale out of the mouth, stick out your tongue a little bit. We'll do 2 more. Inhale through the nose, exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. And just completely melt into the earth. So we'll do a guided relaxation starting with your feet. Relax your feet. Relax your toes. Relax your arches and your heels. Relax your ankles and your calves. Relax your knees and thighs. Relax your hips and your lower back. Relax all the muscles along the spine. Relax your shoulders and your arms. Relax your hands and your fingers. Relax your neck. Relax your face. Relax all the muscles in your face. Relax your jaw. Let your jaw drop open a little. Relax your tongue. Go inside and relax your mind. Quiet your mind. Focus on the silence and the stillness inside of you. Touch that deep place inside, beyond thoughts, beyond emotion, beyond the physical reality of your body, in this wide open, expansive space inside. It's connected with your infinite intelligence. It's all knowing, all present, all loving, compassionate, grateful kindness. And just sinking deeper and deeper into this relaxation, visualize a light entering the crown of the head. And this light is a bright, white, golden, glowing, radiant light, like the kind of light that's coming directly from the sunshine, from the stars. This light is shining into your crown of the head. And as it comes in through the crown of the head, you just feel any thoughts melt away with this beautiful light. And then letting that light coming down through the mind. So it's just melting the thoughts out of the mind. And then coming down from the mind deeper into the heart until you settle there with the light at the heart center. And you feel this expansive, compassionate, all-inclusive, generous heart full of love, overflowing with love. And you feel this energy inside of you, and you just breathing it in. So inhale and take a deep breath into the heart. And feel that expansiveness as the heart and the lungs expand. And then as you exhale, just let it all go. And inhale again. And exhale, let it all go. And one more time. Inhale into the heart. And exhale, let it go. And feeling that connection to yourself. This deep presence to the absolute abundant experience of your own inner light. This light is so bright, so warm, so radiant. It's glowing so much that it's beaming out from your heart center. And it's all surrounding you now. And you are just showered in this incredible, beautiful bubble of white, golden, glowing light of the sun and the stars and the universe, all within you. And you just feel this light, and you feel this warmth, you feel this wholeness, you feel this absolutely self-acceptance. And you just settle into the unique, beautiful, radiant expression of love and kindness that you are. And you just take this time to feel that energy. Just let that envelope you until your cells, every single cell in your entire body is vibrating with this radiant, glowing light of the sun. And you start to nourish each cell with the light of the sun. And you feel this expanding vibration within you. It's a pulsation. You feel this oneness with the universe. As you expand out on the inhale and then the contraction on the exhale, and you realize that life is nothing but expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. Thus is the vibration of the universe. So we go through expansion, and at the very end of expansion, inevitably is a slight contraction. And then you can expand again. And what we aspire towards is that the contraction does never go back to zero. We're only going a little bit less. But if you're already so close to zero that when you get to the contraction space that you go to zero, it means that on your expansion, you need to really beef it up. And what does that mean? It means be around more love, be around more nature. Fill your cup so full that any contraction is not going to take you to your knees. It's going to just take you back a little, and then you're just getting ready for that next expansion. And so anytime that there's a change in plans, or things don't go the way that you thought, or you find yourself around a negative vibration of energy, you realize that this is just that moment where your soul is showing you what is out of alignment. It's time for you to get out of that place into what is more in alignment, and the universe will show up for you every step of the way so you can operate from absolute faith and trust every single breath of your life. This is the law of the universe. Support, love, generosity, abundance, this is ever present in the universe at all times, unquestionable. It's how closed are you or how open are you to receiving it? That is the only question. So how do we close ourselves off when you're in this space of feeling separation? You feel closed off. So how about expand that out into inclusive wholeness, vibration of oneness, recognition that self and other are one at the essence of our beingness. We have our unique expression, but the essence is oneness. The essence is that you are my mirror and I am yours. The essence is that we are here to support each other and we are here to grow together, and that collectively we have a mission, and that mission is to save our Mother Earth together, to save one another, or to just love one another, which is another form of saving one another, is to just give love, give time, give kindness. And so that is your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go out into this world and shine your light and give unconditional love, generosity, overflowing whenever you can to just give. And when something's out of alignment, listen to your intuition. So you stay away from the harmful path and you just stay in the vibration of your goodness. You keep moving towards that and you will always be blessed. There is no question. Your life will be blessed. There are no bad directions in life. There's learning lessons, and then there's learning lessons. And that's all there is along this journey. So see everything as a blessing. Every moment of your life has been a blessing. Every challenge, every hardship, every moment where you didn't feel like life was worth living, it was a blessing. Because the memory of that is going to make you stronger, it's going to make you bigger, it's going to make you more of who you're meant to be. And then you can take that experience and you can help others with that. And in that way, collectively, as a human family, we serve each other at the deepest level possible. And we definitely have more than enough resources to share. So I encourage that you start to cultivate this desire to share. And so just one more deep breath into the heart as you take a moment for your gratitude practice in the recognition of your own divine light, radiant, glowing beam of sunshine that you are, and undeniable beauty, undeniable loveliness. This is the truth of your being. So if you forget, watch this video later and to remind yourself that your magic is inside of you. You're never going to get it outside. Just take a moment for your gratitude practice and be thankful for the gifts that you have in your life, the blessings, the people, the love. And just send that message of gratitude out into the universe, and the universe will feel that, and it responds. It responds by giving you more to be grateful for. The more you're grateful, the more you're given to be grateful for. And that is the truth. So stay in the vibration of gratitude, of love, of harmony. When you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. And I really want to thank you guys for joining us and I felt that. I don't know about you, But I felt that, and I felt you from the distance, and I felt you through the technology, and I feel you all the time, and I feel your light, and I feel your presence, and I see your beauty, and I see what your purpose here and your mission, and I hope you're out there doing it. And I look forward to meeting you at some point along the journey. I'm going to be down in Costa Rica next month, and so we still have a few spots left for our yoga teacher training. It's also just a retreat, transformational yoga immersion. We'll be doing a lot of meditation, a lot of guided meditation. And if you want to find out more information about that, connect with me. You can find me on my website, pranashama.org, or you could also go to my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all the platforms. I'm everywhere, and I'm here for you. And I'd love to see you in Costa Rica. We're also going to be practicing sup yoga. So those of you mermaids out there who like the water, I would love to practice with you in Costa Rica. We got an incredible video crew, a couple people and a photographer. And so we're going to be doing a lot of filming and a lot of photos, and really beautiful experience. And we have an incredible chef. And Amber is my producer, co-teacher down there, and she's incredible, such a beautiful, radiant light of goddessness, and really such an incredible person. So we're looking forward to sharing this time with Amber and with everybody that's already joining us down there in Costa Rica. And if you have any questions, leave a comment for next week. So we're going to do this every Tuesday. And I would love to hear your comments or your questions. So post those in the comments section. And then next week, I'm going to get the questions from the comments of this week. That's how I'm going to do it. I think it's going to be easier. For some reason, I can't figure out the Q&A section or whatever. So, and what else? Anything else? I think that that's it. Unless you're thinking of becoming a yoga teacher and you want to come to Bali, you can come for the full 30 days and get certified 200 or 300. So you can get your 500-hour training and in Bali. And it's an incredible, transformational, life-changing experience. And it's something that will affect you the rest of your life. The people that come out of there, they come out there incredible teachers and just human beings. And so many amazing people have come through the program, and we're just looking to share. And I love to have you in Bali this year, June 1 through 30th. So find all the information on my website at pranashama.org. You can see the link below, and I'm going to post this. And if you have any questions, reach out anytime. Follow me on Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, even whatever you like. I just like to connect with you guys. And let me know if you like these webinars, because if you do, I'm going to keep doing it. I really think it's cool. I wish I could see you. That's the only thing that I don't like about it, but that's why I want you to come to the live events, because I'm like, I want to see you. I want to give you actually like a really big hug. I'm a hugging kind of person. Anybody who knows me knows we have to hug. So hopefully one day I'll give you a big hug. And if you haven't seen my free hugs video, check that out. It got a lot of, it went viral. I think it's got 160,000 views now. So keep spreading the love. More hugs in the world, the better, you know? And yeah, my sup yoga video is still #1 out of all the sup yoga videos in the world, 200,000 views on YouTube. And I don't know, I just feel like really happy, and I feel so blessed that some of the work that I've done over the years is still helping people and making a difference. And all of the programs that I have online, you're welcome. If you want to do some online training with me, I have the membership site, and it's up, and you can go to 30dayyogachallenge.com. Join us. We have almost 6,000 members in our membership site, and they are like awesome. You can ask questions in there. There's a Q&A forum, and you can also do the 40-hour yoga CEU course. And coming up pretty soon, that course is going to be offered for CEUs, also for fitness trainers. So we're getting approved through AFA. I think I mentioned that last time. Anyway, lots of really exciting new things happening at Pranashama Yoga Institute, and getting ready to do a lot more. So stay tuned, and we're going to be connecting every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So see you there, bring a friend, and post your comments and questions so that I have something to talk about. But otherwise, I'll come up with my own topic. But if you email me and you have an incredibly beautiful, touching story like what happened with the other one, I will definitely make a whole video topic about that, and whatever your questions are, okay? Okay, sending you so much love, and talk to you soon. Have a beautiful night. Namaste.